Welcome back to the GLAC Studios oil painting tutorial. I'm Goddess Lakshmi. We are in class 9 of the Dhana Lakshmi painting. It's one of the 8 forms of Lakshmi avatars that are known for all the positive propensities of life. Dhana refers to wealth, so this is the goddess of wealth. We have been working on this painting starting with the first layer, which was the wash. The second layer involved but before the second layer we did a grading technique to plan or strategize and execute the plan on the canvas, and then we did the layer 2, which was blocking and filling. Once the blocking and filling was done, we needed a little bit more of understanding of where is light and where is dark, and that was done in layer 3. Layer 4 enhanced that further by giving this idea of depth. Where is that depth? And a lot of nuances did come, detailing did come. So now we are in the final layer, which will be more and more into nuances and detailing. I call this a final layer from my perspective, that I tend to make a hard stop at a place where I feel comfortable, and say that I have kind of covered the key elements and have done justice to a certain extent to the concept that I'm building. But it should not be necessarily the final layer for you. If you choose to work on some more detailing depth and take it further, I think you should be open to think on that. I would want our tutorial to be a guiding line for you to look at new opportunities and find your own footing as an artist, and say, okay, this is the style that I would like to continue, or maybe I would like to explore something else, and such. So there are so many areas to work on in this, because this particular art form that I am trying to build on diversity paintings is a mix of many things. So you can take the route of realism, hyperrealism, photorealism and such. You can also take the route of some traditional art forms that depict gods and goddesses in a different way. And yeah, there are so many angles to it. I think it's just I'm just mentioning a couple, but there are so many angles to it that you could take and grow, and that will be your choice. Having said that, before we get started with today's session, we are going to kickstart with a layer 5, isn't it? In this layer, I would like to address one more thing. That is, in this layer, you will see that I'm using a little more of the raw linseed oil than needed, because it's also fat over lean, having a little more of oil to have transparency, so you can see through what was there in the previous layer and such. Things will happen in some places, and for that, the main technique that I use is that checkpoint is that I hold my palette vertically when I place oil, when I pour oil, so that it gets fluid. I can check that it gets fluid, but it doesn't start dripping down the lane. Yeah, we don't want that happening in places that is not supposed to have the color that you are trying to build and such. That's one thing. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that even at this stage, I saw the need for some corrections, some important corrections that I will make along the line. We will start with the face and skin tone, and one correction that I noticed was that I needed somewhere on the line, I wanted these two eyes to come one bit closer, a minute bit closer, so the angle of the eye, place this eye slightly closer. It is a bit of a challenge at this stage, yes, but we will get there. Eye a bit closer, and then nostrils and lips also one step up. So there's a lot of shift that's going to happen. In terms of placement, it's going to be a minute change, but I think it will bring in a little more to show the face, and in the innocence and so on. So that's something I have decided to do. So in terms of the colors, we will stick to yellow ochre, primary yellow or permanent yellow, vermilion, crimson, and the darker shades burnt umber and ivory black. I have mixed some colors, so I will mix some colors here fresh for this, because there's also going to be some adjustments happening here, isn't it? So to start with the corrections, I want so in terms of the brushes, I will have 0 brushes, one round and flat, and then I have micro brushes with me, I guess. Yes, that is also there with me ready. So for the base adjustment that I wanted to make, I want to get started with some white first, so that's easier to maneuver or work around with. So I'm going to take a little bit of white to first bring this eye. So I will try to bring this eye one step closer here, so this angle goes this way, which means the nostril goes like this. That's a slight little adjustment here. So I have done this, which means here the eye closes in here. I'm doing it in pure titanium white, which is not the right color, but for now I just need some corrections to be done, so that's the thing. And then the nostrils will have to go slightly up here, meaning this will be a part of the upper lip. So I'm just knocking that off now. Yeah. So I have a bit of skin color that I want to put right now, and close this a bit so we could work on this. And then once we are done with that, we'll be able to place the lip also. So with this kind of corrections coming up, let's get started. So so that's the white. So let's get back to the real white that I used. The white color was not really whitey white. It had slightly skin colors. In terms of the skin colors that I wanted to mix, what I already had was a mixture of permanent yellow ochre, yeah, so I'm adding a bit more of permanent yellow here. and yellow ochre is there. And then to this I think I had a little bit of vermilion. This is the base color, and to this I had added yeah, that's the base color. To this I had added some titanium white in 2 ranges to get it lighter, in some places. And I will keep to this color first to work on the details, corrections, and then we will use the ranges next. So I'm doing the corrections. This color, yes, works well, hides a bit, good. So coming back to the work here with the eye, we needed off-white, isn't it? So to this pure white that I have, I'm going to add a little bit of the skin color so it gets slightly dull, and that's the range I want for the eye, so it's not so pure whitey white. And this is the color that I had used also in the inner side of this eye. This eye is fine, so if I have to do this for this eye, I'm gonna just fill this in one more time. And now to start with the adjustments, I would need the skin color to go here because this angle needs to be shortened. Little bit of skin color. Yeah. Okay. And then this angle needs to come down here ever so lightly. We will work on the darkest color tone, that is the eye color is a bit of ivory black mixed to burnt umber. So I take ivory black and burnt umber. So I have the color ready to work on the eye. Let's do this eye first. Nicely done. Good. And now the corrected eye needs a new contour for the iris and the pupil, isn't it? So let's do this. So that's the contour for the iris and the pupil, and what happens to the contour of the eye here. Cool. Okay, the contour of the eye is kind of adjusted now. I want to use the darker skin tone to bring it, here a little bit. Then the eyebrow shape also goes slightly different. So I'm going to hide a little bit of this eyebrows shape. It starts a little here and then it moves straight down here. So that will be one more adjustment. Now let's work on the adjustments on the nostrils. So I have the ivory black and burnt umber to mark the pores of the nose. Okay, that's one step above where I had initially marked, so that's exactly where it is falling right now. So that will be the pore, and once that pore is marked, I'm just going to use the darker of the skin color, even crimson would work, doesn't matter, to take in and mark the sides of the nostrils. Alright, so I've marked the sides of the nostrils, and also the tip of the nostril here, because right underneath that comes the lip spacing. So I'm going to use some crimson and burnt umber to again mark the upper lips line, and then we'll erase the rest of the portion here. So the upper lips line goes exactly here and comes down right here. So we bring that in. If you look at it, it's one step up to where the current position is. Yeah. So I've seen that now. I'm going to hide the remaining portion with this. Okay. Right now, even at this stage, the correction stage, you see that, she is beginning to look different. So never be concerned about things going wrong. As long as you're able to spot it and trying to fix it, keep working at it. So it came to layer 5 for me to figure out that there's some proportions that is not so convincing, and I'm happy that I could spot it. I'm working on it now. So that's the upper lip section. I'm not using any other color right now. I'm just doing crimson, and then we will, anyways, we have skin color. And then the spacing for the underlip. Done. And then this will be the white portion. Then you come back to the right spacing between the jaw, the chin and her lip. So you come back to the right fitting here. So corrections have been planned. I think right now I can start focusing on the details and nuances, and then all along, we will work on the skin tones as well. Yes, so it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for us to just figure out and correct things. And it's just that bold measure that we need to take to say, okay, that needs an improvement. Yeah. All right. Let's kick some colors in. The lightest tonality that I had used is the same color, added a little bit with titanium white. Checkpoint I said was that I will add oil, and I hold it vertically to make sure that it's translucent, but it isn't falling down, pouring down my palette. So that's a good test, and I'm ready to knock off these colors here. The cheek and the chin line, that's the lightest form of the color, and you see a little bit of that in the neck as well. This lightest form of color doesn't come in all the time, so I'll just stop with that. And I think I'll use that only in the ear a little bit. Yes, then we come back to the other version of the color that is slightly darker. It's got this tonality here, so I take this to work on the rest of the spacing. Yeah. Use it on the nostrils. The one that is slightly darker can go, even more darker can go here. I have not thought of adding more vermilion or crimson yet, but I want to do it a little, shortly in a while now. Okay. Using the rest of the color here on the neck as well. And the ear. So I have filled in the spaces nicely. Okay, the next thing is that we will use these colors and the skin tone that we see. Okay. the darker skin tone. That's what I've been using, so I'm just doing it in the arms first. Right, and then I'll move to the lighter tone. Filling in dark and light is something that we had done in our layer 3, so that logic is similar to begin with, because when we add on to the layers, it's not that we leave the previous layers ideals behind. We carry on with it, we add on to that, so it's always like that. With all this, okay, right now I'm going to start adding slightly bit of vermilion in some places, touching vermilion in the tonalities, here under the eye, these angles, above the lip and such. Yeah, so I've just touched a little bit, and then I'm going to blend that in right away. So ever so lightly blending it in. Good. Alright, I think I have blended enough here. I want some lighter tonality, the lights falling on the nostrils. And this area, yeah, covered, done. So I think I'm now ready to start working on some detailing. So it will be a mix of this, blending and detailing, nuances and such. This particular lesson will be slightly longer, and it is for a purpose that you try to cover this in the same day, because the colors that you have mixed, a lot of things that you notice have to be in alignment, and for that alignment I think it's really good idea to have this done in one sitting. If you need, you can take small little pause and come back at any point, but otherwise try your best to sit through. Now I'm going back to this burnt umber ivory black combination, and I'm going to start working on the eye. I saw another scope for correcting, so I'm just correcting it again. Okay. Okay. Eye size corrected. So going back to the burnt umber and ivory black. Right. So what I see is that, the central portion is fine, it's all good, but we need to start now building on the eyelid. Okay, so I'm just doing the angles of the eyelid very up close. It's really up close to the contour of the eye. Okay, now that that is drawn, I'm going to work on the eyebrow. I think we did hiding of this eyebrow section a little bit to help us think better. Bringing it down to my height. Bucket focus here. Okay, I'm just going to make some nice dots first. Yeah, so these are spaces where it's starting. The angle of the eyebrow starts here, goes up slightly, thickens a bit here. Down. I'll enhance it later, but I'm just going to draw that skeleton of it. So I'm not drawing, I'm making tiny spots of hair follicles. Okay, I think I'm convinced with the positioning, so I'm going to go back to working on the nostrils. We did have a slight spot made here, so I'm just refining that ever so lightly, and now I go back to taking another brush for the teeth. I'll take some pure titanium white, even though it shouldn't be the case because I already have some skin color here in the teeth area, so I know that it will blend in here. So lightly I have filled in that space. About 80% of the space, leaving some space still because there's some darkness, and we will work on that. Let's come back to the darker shadow. We have the burnt umber and black combination ready, micro brush ready to start working on the lips, inner contours that are really dark. Okay, and I'm moving very slowly here in the section. Not turning it totally black right away because I can see gradually increasing the darkness there. At any point, if I want to correct it again, I want to be able to go back. So that's also a reason why I'm not using strong colors right away. Cool. Okay, so now that is built. Let's take a crimson and burnt umber combination. To do some underlip lining, upper lips contour and such. And also using the same to work again on the nostrils contour. That's exactly where we could use some of these colors to show the nostrils zone and also the cheek, the way her dimple, the cheek is. So I have built that smile. Now that it's in crimson, I can use a little more of burnt umber. It was a mixture, but I think I can go ahead and darken it now in those spaces where it has to be darkened. Okay, now I'll use another brush to start off blending in those sections. It's just the under eye, Okay, so the angles are coming out well, but the colors need to be adjusted. I needed a stronger color so I could see where things are. And now that I have it, I can go back to adding a little more of the skin colors to blend them here. Nicely. Yes. Cool. Right. Good. And now that that is done, some more shading needed. I'm taking tiny bit of burnt umber and yellow ochre to mix a little bit and make it slightly darker. Have it in the underlip area, upper lip area, sorry. Also here, grading this gradually, increasing the shadows here. And now I need a raw burnt umber tonality to go for that final cut of the angle of the smile here and here. Cool, I think we managed that. And now that is done. So let's work on the teeth and the lip. For the teeth, I'll use the burnt umber ivory black combination, but really in a slightly toned down grayish zone, to take it first to show the partitions between the teeth very, very lightly. So it's not going to be strong color. Again, the same logic of trying to create a subtle expression and not making it totally strong right away. So we're just doing that. There's a bit of flesh showing in the outer part of her lip. And now I think there is good chance for us to work on real darkness. So I'm taking ivory black boldly and going for those areas to knock in. ready to work on the lips. We had used crimson to do the marking, so we are going to go with the crimson and burnt umber logic again to kind of thicken that storyline first. Right, and now we're going to add the lighter skin tone gradually in this lip line to blend it and bring it back to a lighter tone in some of the sections. Slowly, gradually adding the color, we'll build on the lip line and bring some naturality to it. And everything is done only through a micro brush, so it's really slowing down in that manner. Now that we have this angle, we need to go back to working on the larger context of the face structure. Her angle of the face is fine. The chin can be adjusted a little bit, I can see, and the cheek as well. So let's do that. I'm gonna take crimson and burnt umber combination to play with it first. Yes, this is fine. This angle is fine. When it comes down here, I would like to cut it off a little bit. Tiny bit, and put it up there like that. Yeah, so I would like that to be the contour here, which means I'm taking the crimson off and blending it to the neckline. That is enough crimson. Now we don't need more crimson. I'm going to take the skin color to push it down. We need the lighter skin tone also here too. highlight what we did. So that's one kind of adjustment, and now we want to take a break from the face to work on the hairline, and that will also help us correct things as we move on. So another thing is that we have the burnt umber and black combination that will help us build on the color. I'm looking for a brush. That's slightly, wider. So I have a brush number 1 flat for the ivory black and burnt umber combination. I'm going to correct this here with the shape of the ear. Building in on this. And I think we need to start working on some minor details of the hair. So moving out of this brush, going back to the zero brush now. I need some lighter strokes, so I'm going to take some yellow ochre, have them mixed with a little bit of burnt umber and ivory black, so it's really on the darker side, but make sure that it doesn't get green. It soon turns green, that's a risk. So I'm going to start throwing in those curves on the hair that isn't visible. Okay. And now I can go back to using those curves with ivory black, burnt umber, we'll do a little more of that once we have done with the the shading of the dress as well, but right now, just for the sake of covering some sections and finalizing at least the skin tones, we'll have to have some part of it done. All right. So I'm just creating some more strokes here. I'm using ivory black, but I'm also taking in a little bit of burnt umber sporadically. Keep working and going a bit more in here. See that we need to cut off a little bit here with a pink possibly. So I'm going to take another brush, something that is clean, to take a little bit of magenta, whatever color that we had used, and white. To lighten up and do this, yeah. This section has to be adjusted here. Yes, I think this is fine. I just need to lighten it up a little bit. Yes. Okay. That is adjusted. But when we work on the crown, I think we'll have to adjust it as well. When we work on that, yes. So that's a jewelry adjustment as well that's coming. But slightly she is coming back to that. And I'm going to continue working on the hairline. Throwing in more strokes now. Yes, the hair is beginning to come out well. There's some jewelry to work on here in her forehead. I can see that from this suggestion here in this picture. So I've decided to just kind of, hide in the ear a little bit with a lot of hair locks falling in her face or in front. And this chubbiness of the cheek is a little too chubby. Yeah, let's fix that. What's that? And that can be, I want to just avoid it like this. And this can be taken off here. Yes, we have fixed it. Okay, good. I am ready to go back to working on the face again. So the micro brush, let's fix the eyebrow nicely. So the eyebrow is there, and I want to take burnt umber because it's looking totally on the black side. I want to have some burnt umber strokes there. I like the burnt umber strokes there, so I'm just going to take a little more of burnt umber. Go for the contours of the eye one more time. Okay, and in between the eye contour of the eye and the eyelids line, there is supposed to be a little bit of light. So I'm just, before we get started with the eyelashes, so I'm just adding the lightest skin tone, bringing it in as a highlight in between. It's a minor thing, but it makes all the difference. You bring it in here under the eye as well. Yes. Cool. Now I'm ready to work on her eyelashes. Very lightly, ever so lightly, starting in the inner section of the eye, and building in the eyelashes. Remember, it's a child, so do not draw too big eyelashes. And now that we have done it, we need to add a little bit of titanium white to build the glow in the eye. Tiny bit. Where is it? Yes. Cool. Once you have added that glow, there is a possibility that the black goes away, so just refine the black section one more time. And now we're ready to work on the nostrils. The tip of the nostril is really fair. I'm taking titanium white to throw it in here. I think the shape of the nostrils coming out well. Okay. Let's do the lip. One more lift. Tiny lift here. Ah. The angle of her cheek, I see some correction here, a tiny bit. Using burnt umber to safely go over that. Yeah, done. And the rest of it is actually skin here. I would like to adjust lighter skin tones to come here, right in the section where the ear ring also falls. And this earring also has to come down slightly a bit here. So I'm just adding skin tone there to adjust. Yes. Yeah. Are we really there with the face? Yes, the neckline. We need to work a little more. Using the skin color to just blend things in. We had added some crimson here to darken. That's helping, so just building on that. And remember that this is the back of the neckline here, so you still want to show an angle here. Yes. And this is looking too crimsony, so I'm just going to wipe off very lightly near to the face structure, pull it down and add some lighter tones here. Yeah. I think she comes up well. One more tonality of the skin tone to go on the lip. Before she's ready. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to move on to working on her hands. Yeah. So how far are we? We're nearing there. We will continue working on the hands. Like I said, this is a lengthier session, yeah, but we did the toughest part of it now, so the focus can be now shifted to the hands. So right now we have been blending colors here, so we know that this is what I'm going to do is to take a little bit of crimson and hand in that, the darker shade, the crimson effect a little bit. Yeah, and start blending things together. Adding a little more of skin tone if I think it's a little pinky down here. And here is where I think we need to adjust a bit more of the shape here, because it's got to look like it's a part of, this is very much the pot. Done. Wiped off, adjusted here. Adjusted here. The coins here, that's a little bit of a distraction, but I think it's also needed, so it's fine. Done. Okay, the lighter shade comes out of a little bit of titanium white. I'm going to do that very quickly, taking a tip to titanium white and giving those angles. The needed punch, yes. And we will work on the rest of the hand also like that. Blend in that white as well. The glow comes in. We really need to demark this pot. It's distracting me. I don't know about you, I'm just finding it a little tough. And then I get the contours of the hand. Done, done, done here. So let's work on the hands. The fingers, there is a mistake here I noticed. I don't know if you did. 1, 2, 3 fingers, and then the fourth finger is just kind of gone in all the red. So I'm going to just work on the fourth finger that is supposed to be here. Yeah, building on that. 2, 3, 4. Okay. The shine in the hand. In this hand, this hand. And this one is going to be shiny because it's got the gold coming in, flowing in. All right. Shading of the hands are nearly done. Now it's time to give the hands some more definition. Before that, I want to check in on the picture. Certain things about the hand. What is it? The hand has fingers. The fingers will have nails. Depending upon which angle the hand is, the nail might show. So let's take a little bit of titanium white. And don't worry about it being whitey white. I think it's all now really damp that it will help. Okay, so the thumbs are the easier sections where you'll have tiny bit of it visible. The nail. Okay, done. This finger, side of it. This finger, maybe here. And there are fingers that are folded like this that will have the nails visible in the tips here. I want to take a look at the real picture. The real picture, this is the hand from where the gold is falling. This hand is pretty empty. And in the hands that are empty and also in the fingers, we'll have to have something called mehendi. And on the forehead, there is something called bindi. And I'll explain what these are. Bindi is this dot that comes in between the forehead, and that is kept as a sign of protection, as a sign of so many things there. And it is a very important gesture that comes here right in between. So I'm just, keeping that as a crimson color right in between. Done. And the next thing is the mehendi. Mehendi is, it's got so many meanings now. It's a lot of chemicals now. It's automated, and it's a decorative thing. Goes on the hands. You can Google search. But the real type of mehendi, or the raw type of mehendi, is the mehendi leaves themselves that are crushed manually, ground into a paste, and that paste is really thick. It cannot be made into patterns and designs. So they are kept in the palm, middle of the palm, with some dots, and then as caps in the finger. So that was the actual nail polish for women in those days. So I would just try to keep that in mind and create images of that. So I've used a little bit of vermilion, added oil so that it is translucent. Now work on the center circle in the palm and dots going around. Filling in the top portion of the fingers. Cool. In this hand, we see that it's the hand that has got the gold flowing in, but we could give the outer circle and fill in the orangey cap thing on the tips of the hand. Okay, nearly there. Good. Okay, so I'm taking a look at the overall image and seeing if there is any adjustment. For now, I think things are okay. We have the hands covered with it. Oh, the hands, the fingers that are open. We need to have a little bit of burnt umber in the tips to show those lines. In the finger. These are really minor things, but it goes to show how much effort you are putting in to bring in that effect. Okay, and I think I need a little bit of the burnt umber crimson logic to go around the creases of this jewelry. I'm blending in that color now. The skin tone. Okay. One more lapse of thing that I would like to do is to work on her upper lip to create a kind of shadow. With a light skin color. And also the shadow underneath her nostrils. Slightly adding burnt umber there. Yes. Yeah, I feel that we can make a stop with this session today. We have really gone far with the painting now, doing the layer 5 of her skin tone, also making quite a bit of corrections here. I'm happy with the changes. I am going to work on the jewelry, so that's exactly what we work on in the next layer, next class, and then move on to working on the nuances of other elements in the in this picture. When it comes to jewelry, we also are concerned with the gold and gold pots and such, so there's a lot going to be happening in the next session, but I hope it will not be so intense as this one is. I hope you have found this very useful, because I did a live correction. a lot that we are apprehensive about. I think you could have sensed that and learned from it. That is it for now. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, stay motivated, stay curious, so we see Dhana Lakshmi to the finish line very soon. Bye bye.